Good morning, everybody. How are we doing today? Starting to get a bit cooler here. I'm having to run my fingers. They're getting a bit cold, although the door's open, so it's not that cold. And the shorts are still on, so again, not that cold. How is everybody? Welcome to today's live stream. I should have started this properly. Hi, it's Garry. I get quite a lot of people actually saying that they like that hi, it's Garry. So I need to try and remember to do that with the lives as well as my pre-recorded stuff. Loads of comments already coming in, so I'm just going to jump on in. So, good morning, Chris. Good morning from Toowoomba. I bet it's starting to get a bit cold over there, I would think. Blonde Scales 1, good evening from Arkansas. Alia Rose, hi from frosty Pennsylvania. Is it still going into your summer now or into spring? So hopefully it'll start warming up for you. Blonde Scales 1, had a package from Australia finally show up. Oh, hopefully it's that pen that you've been waiting from Just Turnings. Was it an open one, I believe? Ted Smith, good afternoon from Seattle. Welcome to you, Ted. Alia Rose, yay. Andreas, hello from Brisbane. Welcome to you. Alia Rose, your opal pen. Blonde Scales, I posted a picture on Garry's Discord. Yeah, I'm going to have to get that... I haven't really been using the Discord too much. I need to get back into that. I believe the link to change or to join it changes very regularly. So let me just make a note. Discord link into my brain's just gone dead. There we go. Community tab. So what I'll do later on this morning after we've done the live, I will post into the community tab a link to the Discord, which answers the next question of Alia Rose. Where is it? Blonde Scales 1, yes. As in, I believe that's saying that's the opal one. BJ, hello everybody. Alia Rose is in the community tab. Miss Marilyn Darling, hi Garry, hi everybody. Hi Blonde Scales 1, welcome to you, Miss Marilyn Darling. Miss Marilyn Darling, hi BJ. Alia Rose, BJ, hey MMD. Let me just refresh these. Blonde Scales 1. I might have to ask him for the link. So again, that's down to the Discord. So yeah, I will get that sorted after this. Might not be immediately after, but fairly quickly after. Alia Rose, hi Miss Marilyn. How you doing? Hi Chris. Hi Ted. Just left HJ's stream, so I didn't miss Garry. Thanks for that. HJ, is that Hemingway Jones? I didn't realise he was streaming today. I normally watch his streams on for me it's a Wednesday morning. The time he goes live isn't just right for me to watch it live. I did manage to catch one live, but I normally watch them later on a Wednesday morning. Alia Rose, I finally completed my home project and could open my reward pen. And hopefully I don't pronounce this too bad. And a Agape pen in Fairy Dust from Divine Pens Plus. Agape, is that, from memory, is that like another word for or a type of grape? I might be wrong there. Marie, hi from Michigan. Welcome to you. John, greetings from New York. Alia Rose, same. Alia Rose, we're entering spring here in Pennsylvania. I love spring. Isn't it spring like it's that time where everything's starting to grow and you see the new growth. You see the birds that are nesting. I think it's just such a hopeful time of year. Ted Smith, hi Miss Marilyn. Chris Robinson, hi Miss M. Blonde Scales 1, feel free to show the pic on the live stream. Anita Helton, hello all. Let me try that. Let me just see if I can get into Discord. Discord. And see if we can show the pic over on the live stream. Live stream? We definitely don't a live stream, do we? It's just getting into Discord. I'm not sure if I'm logged in on here or not. I normally access Discord through my iPad. And yes, I could connect to it, but it's a bit of a pain in the butt because I've got to reconfigure a load of wires. I'm hopefully got a plan to sort that out. So it's still trying to get into Discord. Let's go through some more comments while it's doing that. Anita, hello all. Hi Marie. Hi Anita. BJ, Hemingway Jones is usually a Tuesday streamer. He isn't going to take my Saturday carry times. Cool, thanks for that. Miss Marilyn, darling. Okay, we're getting closer on the Discord. Let me just jump in. I know you can't see. Sorry. Oh, sorry, blowing my nose terrible today. So that's still thinking for a second, so let's leave that to think. I love, Miss Marilyn Darling, I love spring. However, the flowers are blooming and the pollen is coming in and my eyes look like I got punched. I put some eye cream on. Do you know, I had a similar issue earlier on, a few weeks ago. It wasn't actually pollen. Well, we changed our shampoo and it looks like I'm allergic, or there was an allergy to something in that shampoo. So my son came in from work one day and he said to my wife, he said to her, you need to learn to hit him somewhere else because it shows round his eyes. Right, so I'm in. So let's see if we can find cool. Let's swap over then to the screen. So here we've got this picture, this gorgeous Just Turnings opal pen. So hopefully you can see that there. I love the way that it's got the light bouncing around in there. You know, you can see the different colours. Yes, I know it's like it's a fairly plain white, but then when you start seeing all this, I don't know if you can see my mouse, like blues coming through here. Blues and purples. I bet this is stunning in real life. Let's go back to the camera. Minimize this. John Papa. John, agape means love in Greek. See, I was completely wrong there about grapes. My poor brain should be shot. Chris Robinson, I got some Carcass Violet ink from China on Friday. Only took 6 months. Also came with some other 6-month packages on the same day. Do you know, I had the same thing on Friday. No, mine was Thursday. I had a package that I'd ordered from, I can't remember, I think it was AliExpress. Might have been Temu, but I think it was AliExpress. About 6 months ago, finally arrived. There must have maybe been one shipment that was all delayed, and that they all suddenly got released. BJ, it looks like you got your ears. No, I haven't. My wife was saying it needs to be done, but I want to get another couple of weeks before it gets done. You know, I don't. And then, because we're going into winter, it won't be as short this time. Blonde Scales 1. I decided it needed an ink from Australia too, so I inked it with Robert Oster Cosmic Swirl. Well, as you must know if you've seen my first impressions, when with the Australian-made pens I get, I always ink them up the first time with an Australian ink. Australian pen, Australian ink. Only seems fair, doesn't it? Let's refresh the comments, see if there's any more coming. Satin finish. So that pen there, satin finish. BJ, that's a beauty. Anita, Chris, that must have been a robo. I know sometimes I think that's like it. Yeah, Chris, exactly the same as I just did. I think it's a container that gets forgotten somewhere, which is quite likely. I mean, when you consider what it is you pay, you don't really mind it too much. The thing I'd ordered was a USB-C, I can't show you it, a USB-C cable, but it was an extension cable with a male on one end and a female on the other, because where I've got my USB ports on my MacBook, I really want everything that's attached to it to be around the other side. So I needed a USB-C cable with a bit of length. So I've done that. I've moved that all now around the side. It doesn't look a lot neater, but I'm just a lot happier that it's around the side out of the way. Okay, let's do another refresh of the comments. Ted Smith, 4 dominant industry inks arrived today for me. Only took 6 days coming from the UK to Seattle from Pure Pens. That's not bad, that 6 days. I do like, I've only had up 2 or 3 things from Pure Pens. I've got some of their inks, which I really like. I've got some that they make themselves, and I've got some that were made for them by Diamine. BJ, missed you last week. Glad everything went well. Yeah, hopefully. I'm still not right. I mean, I'm still very, very tired. It's really knocked me for 6. I mean, it was that bad yesterday. I actually had a lay-in, which is very unusual for me. But hopefully, yeah, getting back to normal. I have recorded some videos this week, so you'll actually see the first one that I recorded this week. That'll be up live tomorrow. Oh no, tonight, today, whatever time it is. My afternoon, anyway. Unfortunately, the operation didn't solve the problem with my brain not working. Andreas, since everyone's sharing, I got a delivery, Alarmy, All-Star, Fiery and Aquatic, the new special editions. I'm really digging the coloured sections. Yeah, I haven't really looked at the... I need to look at them. I looked at... I've seen, obviously, reviews of the Safari ones. To be honest, they don't overly excite me. But I do need to look... I haven't looked at the All-Star ones. I need to have a better and closer look at them. All right, so let's refresh again. Okay, let me take the comment off. I remember to take the comment off. And we're going to go to the overhead camera. So I had this arrive in the post during the week. This has come from Chris over in Toowoomba. So Chris is actually on the stream. He actually made this, and he made this for me. I was very, very appreciative, very much. Thank you very much, Chris. I've had a quick look at it, and it looks absolutely awesome. So I thought we'd do a bit of a first impressions here on the stream. So A5 size. We've got my name. I love this. We've got here a photo from Star Wars, or a screen grab from Star Wars, and then notebook. On the back, we've got some more Star Wars. So this looks like a poster. Got Darth Vader there. And this is from the original film, which I think is awesome. And then below that, we've got some paw prints. My guess is that they are for the dog. Say, Chris, if you want to drop any comments, feel free to. Absolutely awesome. Nicely bound. If you take a look inside, so we've got 48 pages. Yes, I know, I did sit and count them. So there's 48 pages. It's got like a light grey ruling, and these are 8mm in length. Yeah, I even got the rule measure out and measured it. The paper's got a nice glossy feel to it. Absolutely awesome. I want to try the middle, find the middle here. So in the middle here, it's stitched together. Not sure how well that comes over on the camera. Just going to hold this up, so hopefully. So when you've got white stitching on white paper, it's very hard to see. Paper is a nice white colour. What I thought I'd do today is we're going to combine two sections of my videos. We'll actually use this for this week's currently inked pens. And then that will double up also how does the actual paper handle the ink and the pens. So we're going to jump to the back. Let me get this into frame there. So I've already done the title. Now the title was done using Alarmy AL Star with a 1.5 nib. So that's what I use for all my titles. The ink I've got in there at the moment is Diamine Pick Me Up. So this is a sheening ink. And again, let me get this. Hopefully, I don't know if the camera picks this up yet. Beautiful. It's like the base colours are brown colour. You can see here from the swipe. But it's got masses of green sheen. One of the best papers I've seen for showing that sheen. Absolutely awesome. Just look at that. Hopefully, the camera's picking that up. I'm trying to watch the comments at the moment. So let's jump in and look at the pens I've been using this week. Let me just try and move this mic a little bit so I can actually see my screen, because that's got the list there, just so I make sure I don't mess up. So the one I've been using all week is the Tibaldi Bononia. This is in the Bora Bora pattern. This is an Italian pen. Not a lot of ink left in it. hopefully enough to do today's session or writing sample. Then that's going into the pot for cleaning. So it's a converter. Now, one of the things with this, and I have seen other reviewers mentioning the same thing, the threads, they feel like they're catching. It's as if they're slightly misaligned. Let me fetch this down. So it's in the camera. There we go, that's better. Pointless me showing you up here if you can't see it. Let me just fetch that down as well. Then it gives me a better idea where to actually show things. So we've got here as I said, there isn't much ink. To Baldy. Just going to try and use that converter, see if I can squeeze a bit of ink out. Right. Hopefully that might help a bit. Bononia. Yeah. It's got a broad nib. Price for this pen, 267 Aussie dollars. The ink is by Diamine. And it's Sargasso Sea. Really wet combo on this paper. I do like this. I like this Bora Bora. But anyway, that goes in the clean out pot. Next up, we're going from an expensive-ish pen to a nice cheap one. This is a Jinhao 82. Again, not a lot of ink. There is some ink left in here. I love the transparent nature of this. I do have some more Jinhao 82s which I'll be recording first impressions of over the next few weeks. Let me just turn that mic so it actually catches my mouth. So we've got here a Jinhao 82. This has got a medium nib. Price wise, 6 Aussie dollars. Big price difference, isn't there? The ink by Twisby. And it's just simply called red. Again, let's do this. So this is one of the things we're seeing. All the inks really smudging really well. So it's a really wet combo. So that's a Jinhao 82. Up next, we've got Hongdian. This is the Light of Hope, part of the Black Forest series. I know I've said this in a lot of videos. I bought it for the name. I mean, it's an awesome name, the Light of Hope, something we all need all the time. I also love the colour, it's beautiful blue colour. And it goes all the way through to even the nib is blue. There we go. Another one, cartridge converter. And another one will be going into that clean out pot as soon as I've finished. So this is the Hongdian. Although it's a fine nib, I think it's got a really wide line. Hongdian, the Light of Hope. With a fine nib. And for this pen, you're looking about 29 Aussie dollars. The ink is by Pilot. And it's Pilot Blue. Not an Irashizuku, just good old Pilot Blue. Now, some people have said when this dries, it dries with a bit of a red sheen. If I remember, we'll come back and see if that's the case. I've not noticed it on any of my other papers. But yep, that's a Hongdian, the Light of Hope. Again, goes in the clean out pot. Let's move this up ever so slightly. Next, we've got from Taiwan. This is a Laban 325. This is in Cambridge Brown. Beautiful chatoyancy we get here on the body. Let me just twist that around. Hopefully I can capture that on the camera for you. Very nice combo. It's another one. Cartridge converter. Converter is actually labelled Laban. Nice looking nib on this steel nib. Number 6 size nib. I think this is one of the ones that Yoho make. So we've got a Laban 325. Got a broad nib on here. And we're looking at 146 Aussie dollars. The ink is Robert Oster. And it's Aussie Brown. Now we should hopefully see some shading in this. Let me do this. Forgot to do it on the pilot. So that one seems to be a bit on the drier side. Let me just fetch that pilot back and do the swipe. There we go. I do like this, and I think it looks quite nice with this Aussie brown. So that goes back in the tray. Let me just hold this up. Can we see anything on that pilot blue? No, I can't see anything there. Not sure if anything comes through. But on that Laban 325, seeing plenty of shading coming through. So the paper's holding up really well so far. Up next, we've got the Leonardo Memento Zero Grande. This is in the dark Hawaii. This is like the spaghetti type pattern. Just show you that. Very nice pen. I like this. One of my favourite pens. I love the size. I love the shape. Only thing that lets it down, doesn't have an ink window. This is a piston filling pen. So a number of times I've been using this and it just runs out of ink and I had no idea. So we've got here a Leonardo Memento Zero Grande. Massive long name with a medium nib. Price wise, 377 Aussie dollars. The ink is by Diamine. And it's Jack Frost. Again, nice ink, nice. Hopefully, as it dries, should dry with a red sheen. We'll leave it until we've done the next pen, then we'll come back and look at that. Let's do a swipe. Again, nice, like heading towards like a turquoisey type blue there for me. Next up, we've got the Platinum 3776 Century in Burgoyne. Beautiful semi-transparent colour, this. Cartridge converter, there we go. Again, not a lot of ink in here. Another one, we'll be going straight into that drying out pot. Let me just prime the feed on this. There we go. I've pushed that converter all the way down to hopefully get some ink. This one, I do find sometimes I need to use it posted. I can get away unposted. When I'm using it posted, more for long writing sessions, but it does tend then to feel a bit on the back heavy side. But for today, we'll just use it unposted. So we've got a Platinum 3776 Century. This has got a medium and it's 14 karat gold. Price for this, 288 Aussie dollars. The ink is by Diatramentis. New word, Garry. Atramentis. Cherry. So this is one of their scented inks. Really does smell of cherry when you're getting it out. Let's do a swipe. Oh, a bit of blue on there, but you can see again, fairly wet comber. Now, I have had some issues with this pen. It is in my... Sorry, my brain's gone dead. It is, because it's a pen that I've been using, I will be talking about this in my wrap-up video. So, here's a little pump for my next wrap-up video, where you can find out what were the issues I was having with this pen. There you are, that's a bit of a tease for you. Well, we're going to go for another cheap pen now. We're going to go for the Jinhao 9019. This is a beast of a pen. Oh, that was going into clean out, wasn't it? Another one, going to go for clean out. But then this one will be getting refilled again because I'm going to be recording a video in a couple of weeks with this. And although there's a bit of ink in there, there's not enough for me to use for that video. I'm actually going to be recording a video comparing this to the Ranga Model 5, which is my, my big boy, my big beast of a pen, just to see how the two big pens compare. Cartridge converter, it's got its own type of converter. Somebody said it holds 1.2 mil of ink. I've not measured it myself. I'm trying to work out a good way of measuring the ink. Haven't come up with that yet. Nice chunky pen, nice thick pen, really like this. Got that big number 8 size nib, and that nib, it's needed in this pen, isn't it? So this is a Jinhao. It's one of the things that I have found. I've been getting a lot of issues with hard starts. Jinhao 9019. This is a medium nib. Price for this pen is 12 Aussie dollars. You can't go wrong at that price, can you? The ink is by Noodlers. It's Navajo Turquoise. And let's do my swipe. This is going to be a good one to test because in my writing that I've been doing, let me just fetch in my notebook here. So when I've had Navajo Turquoise, this particular pen, let me see if I can find one. 19th, 17th. So 19th is when I used this. Here we are. So this is, we're at Jinhao 9019. Here we go. If I turn over the page, you get a lot of that, which I don't get with many of the other pens. So there's like the next day. You can see a little bit, but nowhere near as much. And that's with that Diamine Sargasso C. But this Navajo Turquoise, and it's not just this paper, so that's why it's a good one to test on here. So that's a Jinhao 9019. Again, goes in the clean out pot. So they're the pens I've been using, but because I've got some space and we're trying to test this paper, let's use some other pens. So we've got here the Lamy 2000 piston filling pen, gorgeous pen, beautiful nib on there. This has got more of a stub-like nib, so it's a Lamy 2000. And it's a broad 14 carat gold nib. The price for this, I can't remember exactly. I haven't got it on my notes because I've just decided to fetch these in. So I won't put the price. And we've got Diamine, Writer's Blood, I do expect this to be extremely wet, which it is. Beautiful pen, this. Really starting to enjoy this. I've lost my mouse. Where's my mouse? Moose. There's a moose loose about this hoose. There we go, I found it. Now, before we go on to the next one, I just want to go back to that Jack Frost. I forgot to do this. Hopefully you can see with loads of that gorgeous red sheen. Now, this Jack Frost, most papers I struggle to see red sheen, but on here, wow, it's really smacking me in the face. Let's carry on with our writing. So the next one, this is a Jinhao X350. So again, cartridge converter. There we go. Jinhao X350. This has got a medium nib on it, and the ink is Robert Oster. It's Australis Oak. Now this pen on most papers feels a bit like it's a little bit catching on the paper. I think I just need to smooth the nib down a bit. I haven't done that yet, but on here it's gliding. It's nice. Let's try and get a clean finger. And then we've got just a teeny tiny little bit of room. So that's a Jinhao X350. We'll go for this one. This is the Leonardo Memento Magico. This is the meal pattern. And here we've got a Leonardo, another piston filling pen, Memento Magico with a broad nib, and the ink Diamine Candlelight. So another ink I'm expecting to see some shading from. So there's that Leonardo. Let's look at them bottom two. So yeah, look at that. Loads of shading coming through on both of those. Make sure I get it lined up in the camera. There we go. Especially on this last line, this diamond candlelight. See lots of yellow tones as well as there. Right, interesting though. I didn't do my swipe there with that one. Let's try and keep the test as consistent as we can, Gary. Okay. Right, I'm going to turn over the page and let's see, has anything come through? Wow, look at that. Not a thing. In fact, Gene, I hardly see a thing coming through at all. And normally under my lights, I can see loads. Get a little here, just a little teeny. That's where I did the M with that Noodler's Navajo turquoise. But I say on most papers, that bleeds through or shows through an awful lot. Not getting anything at all on this paper. Absolutely awesome. And unfortunately, I've just got a bit of ink there on that back page. I'm going to leave this open to dry. So this is an awesome notebook. Thank you very much to Chris for sending it to me. Very much appreciate that. Let me move that to one side. And swap back over to the normal camera. We will be coming back to that top-down view again in a second. Sorry. So, comments. Let's go back to the comments. I've got lost that mouse again. And there we go. Oh, loads of comments again. Miss Marilyn, darling, that's so cute. Just have my tea today. Oh, there's a camera. I forget. I've moved the camera position. Just trying out a different camera position because it used to get in my way. Spider-Man. We've got peppermint tea today. Miss Marilyn, darling, very wide rule. It is, but for my writing, that actually works out really, really well. Anita, Ted, is that dominant ink the one in the spaceship bottle that was your favourite colour? Chris, lots of fun seeing the notebook on Gary's desk. It's Burroughs 170 GSM on the inside. Sheens wonderfully, absolutely. I don't have a shimmer ink inked up at the moment, which is why I couldn't test it with a shimmer. So that'll be interesting when I eventually do get a shimmer ink in one of my pens. Marilyn, that Tibaldi sings, interesting. I've only heard 2 pens that do that beside my own. It must be rare. It is, and that's the first time I've heard it singing like that. So I think it was a combination with the nib being really dry, being nearly out of ink. Although even once I'd primed the feed, it was still singing quite a bit. Hi Anita, thanks for asking. My favourite colour is the Harbour of Dieppe, which is in their painter series, a painting by JMW Turner, I believe. Alia Rose, speaking of Jinhao, anyone try the 9013? Got the clear red on order from AliExpress. I haven't, 9013, let me make a note to have a look at that. I'm hopefully going to do an AliExpress order during the week. Some of the pens, I will be ordering a number of pens. Some of them, though, I think my wife will be borrowing for Inkvent, but some will be bought to come onto the channel over the next few months as well. Alia Rose, I've got that blue Hondian. I think for me, it was more the name than anything else. I just think the name is so lovely. And nowadays, it's something we all need. Andreas, the Laban pen is beautiful. It is. It's my only Laban pen. I do intend to get some more, but nowadays I'm only really buying pens where there's a visual interest, especially that sort of price, where there's a visual interest as well. And I've not really seen any that really jump out and grab me. I nearly bought a skeleton version, but then I talked myself out of it. Blonde Scales 1, so many pretty pens, so little money. I know what you mean. I've got another pretty pen to show you in a minute, which is a gobsmacking pen. Blonde Scales 1, indeed. Atomic Elf, hello everyone, hello to you. Just coming in, was over at Hemingway Jones Live. Yeah, I shall be watching that later on this morning. Alia Rose, hi Atomic Elf. Hi all from Tom. Alia Rose, chunky pen. Absolutely, that Jinhao 9019. Tom Morley, if you have a scale, then 1 milliliter of ink equals 1 gram. I don't know if my scale's accurate enough. 1 milliliter ink equals 1 gram. I've just made a note of that. My note pen at the moment. There we go. Waterman Karen. That's because today's pen was the. In fact, I'll swap them over now. Today's pen is a Leonardo, so I'll swap that over now. That comes back in. Chris, I love my 9019. It's had Diamond Bar Humbug in since Christmas. Do you know, I need to get Bar Humbug into another pen. I love the name of that. If you'd have seen all my Christmas shirts, most of those have got Bar Humbug on it. You know, I would say Scrooge is my hero. He's not. It was Jacob Marley should be my hero because Scrooge reformed, whereas Marley, to the end, he stuck with what he was. Whereas that stupid old Scrooge started being nice. Chris Robinson, 9019 converter is a smidge more than 1.9 mil. Brilliant, thanks for that. That's from when you're working off memory. I sometimes get them wrong. Ali Rose, I've got a cream 9019 with a medium heartbeat nib inked with Warringal Secret Garden, and it handles the shimmer excellently. I've got in my wish list for my next AliExpress order, as I've already said I'm going to do one, is it the 9016 with a heartbeat nib. So that's there ready to go. I just need to have just go through and really fill out the order. I like to order a number of stuff when I'm ordering. Ted Smith, I like my Jinhao 9019 as well, but mine hard starts so frequently that I don't go to it very often. Brilliant. So I'm not the only person who's been noticing that. I'll say I've found it. I've been getting a lot of hard starts with that 9019. Still a nice pen, but it's just something I've noticed with it. BJ, there's a lot of nice features in the 9019 for $10. Yeah, there is. I mean, I think it's an awesome. I think a lot of Jinhao pens though are. I really like. Oh, my hair looks a mess. Sorry. I think a lot of them are quite nice. Chris, yes, the most Chinese nibs you have to run a feeler gauge through them, otherwise they're too dry or hard start. I have got down for a video, a live session in the future. I'm not sure when, to actually go through my little kit that I have with all my repair and little tweaking tools. Anita, has anyone tried the Jinhao heartbeat nib? Is there a difference in writing? So I don't think he's on here. One of my viewers, Paul, he's made a number of comments on videos. He's got a heartbeat nib on a pen, and he said that he really, really likes it. He said it writes a lot better than the standard Jinhao nib. BJ, put some chapstick on the threads, Ted. Typically fixes drying problems for me. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, that's a nice, easy fix, that. Ali Rose, the heartbeat nib is a major improvement, much bouncier and better writing in my experience. I say, yeah, that's what Paul has said as well. Blonde Scales 1, I noticed that Jack Frost was really shining while he were writing with the other pens. Yeah, it is. And normally, I find with that Jack Frost, I'm normally disappointed with it. But this time, wow, on that paper, it's beautiful. Ted Smith, thanks, Chris. I'll try that again. I've tried the feeler gauge through them, but I don't think I'm persistent enough. So what I do when I'm doing the feeler gauge is I actually pull the whole nib and feed out, so I get all the way down a lot easier. It also gives me a chance to really give the feed a good deep clean and then reposition it if needed. Sometimes it just needs a slight tweak to how the nib's sitting on the feed to actually make a big difference. Tom Morley, Chris Robinson agree. Wendy Sue, welcome to you, Wendy Sue. Thank you for joining. Chris Robinson, use a 0.003 inch gauge. I don't use a feeler gauge. Again, when I show you the kit, I use a brass shim that I got from, I think it was Goulet pens. BJ, I like that candlelight ink. I do in there. It's the first time I've had it in a pen, but I quite like it in that. I think the colour match is quite nice as well. Pardon me. I can see me using that ink in that pen until maybe I've used it all up. Ted Smith, will do, Chris. Thank you. Chris, the Noodlers are the most problematic inks. Yeah, I've only got a couple of Noodlers inks. But I say with that one, no matter what pen I've got it in, it goes through the paper. It's very, very prone to doing that. but I like the colour. I like that beautiful turquoise of it. Tom, rolls of brass sheet of given thickness are widely available and cheap. Chris Robin, Ali Rose to Chris. That's an understatement. Artful Stationer. Hi, Gary. Hi, all. Welcome to you. Anita. Ted, I've seen videos saying leave the gauge in the nib for a while. Yeah, I've seen those as well. What I do with the shim is when it's in, and I don't know if this is the right thing, I'd like twist it backwards and forwards whilst it's in there to see if that helps a bit. Tom Morley. Chris, more than you would ever need. Tools are about 1 inch wide. Tom Morley, oops, rolls, yeah. Ted, thanks Anita. I think I'll try that. The tines are otherwise stubborn and they stay too close together. Ricardo, good morning. Glad to see you are okay. Nib singing or squeak is in my Pelican M200 broad nib. Yeah, I think my M200 does sing a little bit when I'm using that. I'll have to get that inked up and try that on that paper. I think that'd be interesting. A thumbs up there from Chris to Tom. Hello. Atomic Elf. Oh, sorry. I keep feeling I've got something on my tongue. Atomic Elf. Some scales actually have a liquid measurement built in. It's accurate for water, but might deviate for liquids with additional content that significantly affect the density. Yeah, I can see where you're coming from there. What I'm thinking of doing, let me just grab it. How I'm thinking of doing it, I do have, get the right camera, I do have a number of these, which my wife got me as part of Inkvent. They have got a graduation on the side. There we go. Hopefully the camera will catch that. There you are. There is a graduation on the side. But how accurate it is, I don't know. I mean, it'll go 1.2. So that's something I need to work out. That's what I'm thinking of using. Now I'll just use plain water. Or what I might do is, rather than using plain water, because that might be difficult to see, I might put some food dye in some water and then just reuse that. But something I'm thinking about. Just pop that back away before I end up stabbing myself. Wendy Sue, thank you. Glad to be here. All right, let's refresh again. Alia Rose, if you want to get the feel for the whole heartbeat nib thing, do try it in the 9019 versus the 9016, which has a number 6 nib. It's still good, but the number 8 is amazing, especially the medium. Tom, ain't so close to water density, but yeah, you're right. Let me just... There we go. So that's all the comments for the moment. Let me turn this off. I'm going to go back to the overhead view and show you this. This is actually today's video, or this afternoon's video. This is a brand new pen. I only received it about 10 days ago. This is from another Australian maker. He's a fairly new maker over here in Australia. I haven't seen any of his pens reviewed, so my first impressions this afternoon might be the first one. The guy, hopefully I pronounced his name right, is Rod Roncari. He's got a page on Instagram. In this afternoon's video, I have put a link to the to his Instagram page, actually in the description of the video. This is Red Moral, which is the word, and then there's some resin in here as well. In the video, I give you all the details about what the actual resin is called. Very pretty pen, very nicely priced pen as well. Let's just open it up. There's a converter in there. I've got a red ink in here at the moment, or reddish ink. What I like about this one is the nib. The nib is a bot nib. Now, this is the first time I've had, well, I'm saying that it's the first time I know of that I've had a bot nib. Now, one of the things I'm noticing could be the ink. I only wiped this off the other day. I get a lot of grunge on there. Can you see that, where the ink's creeping out and then drying up? Just wipe that off again. I need to keep an eye on that. So yeah, this is a bottle nib. I say it's the first time I'm aware of I've got a bottle nib. I do have a couple of Moonman M800s that I bought with what they said was a bottle nib. You know, is it a bottle nib? Well, I can only take their word for it. But this is a very nice pen. There we go. Just another quick. I say there's a full first impressions about it this afternoon, so I'm not going to go into any detail here. But I just thought I'd show it off because I think it's so nice. Let's go back to the messages. Blonde Scales 1, I've actually stabbed myself with a fountain pen. Yeah, I know what you mean. There were many years ago, was it JPL? He did a little video. This is just something that's just where he said he got a tattoo because he dropped a pen onto his foot and the ink actually went out into his skin, so it looked like it was a tattoo. BJ, speaking of food, dye actually makes a decent ink. Yeah, again, it was JPR. I saw he did some. And I was going through some of my old notes and I found the notes I made from that video. So that's something I may try. I may try it later in the year. It might be one that I'd save till next year as like my April the 1st video. Actually trying out food dyes in some of my own pens. It's interesting what you can actually use as an ink. Alia Rose, I did that too. Grim. Blonde Scales 1, ink crusticles, lol. Yeah, that's the first. Well, I mean, I've had it on other pens, but that one is doing a lot. So that's something I really need to try that out. Atomic Elf, some red inks are notorious for nib creeping. Dragon's Blood is one, I think. So that ink is Robert Oster Terracotta. Now, I haven't noticed that happening on other pens with it in. So I say it needs to be something I need to experiment with a bit. Shane, pretty interesting, crusty nib, reds and oranges. Alia Rose, new Lamy Dark Lilac, got crusty in my pen too. Ted Smith, I've not stabbed myself with a fountain pen, but I've spilled an entire bottle of ink on the carpet for the first time recently. Oh, wow. Do you know the worst of that? It's not so much spilling the ink, it's trying to get it out of the carpet. That stuff just seems to soak in. What I've got here is I've got my desk sat on some IKEA mats. So if anything like that happens, it's only going to go onto the mat. But fortunately, he says crossing his fingers and everything. I've been quite lucky about that. I've just noticed the camera is back to front. Oh, is it? Oh, I don't know. No, it isn't. That looks right. It's just the way I'm looking at it. I thought for a moment there everything was reversed. I'm trying a different camera setup and to see how it goes. That's why things might look a bit different. Let me just put that down a bit. There we go. Jason, welcome to you, Jason. Thanks for your feedback on the Heartbeat nib. I was just about to buy a 9016 with one, but I think I'll change that to a 9019. Yeah, I do like. I haven't got a 9016, which is why I intend to get one, obviously. But I do like the 9019s. I can see myself buying another one of those at some time, but $12, they're brilliant value. It might be one. Maybe when I do my order, I might add another one in if I see one I like. Because at that price, what have you got to lose? Blonde Scales 1, I'm very careful with ink. I don't want to be killed over ink spills, yeah. So what I've got, which you must be seeing a lot of my videos, I've got my wooden block here. So like Robert Oster and Diamine inks will fit in there to stop them from spilling. For samples and stuff like that, when I'm using my ink miser, I have this. It was actually Miss Marilyn Darling suggested getting a little bowl to stand it in. And this was just from Red Dot, like a value store. They're all over the place here in Western Australia. So my ink miser just sits in there, so if there's a spill, it doesn't go too far. Let me pop these back. I'll put that back properly in a minute. Just get them out of the way. just refresh the comments. Fear of spilling ink bottles was the reason I started making my ink bottle trays in the first place. Yeah, you know, it's ink goes all over. Andreas, that happened to me recently. After years of safe re-inking, I was silently judging people using ink bottle holders when they re-ink, and now I have a Robert Oster blue desk. Yeah, my desk is like a creamy colour, so I can imagine what it'd be like if I spilt a bottle of ink on there. What I do is every week with my desk, I have just behind me, bottom of kitchens, you know, the kitchen spray. I can't remember what brand it is. It's a cheaper one, I would think. So I do a good clean down and scrub to get any ink stains off. But my wooden tray, let's just go to the overhead view. You know, you can see here where I've had various ink spills. Just move that up. This is why I use this tray. It's not a tray, it's like I think it's a chopping board, you might call it. It was about $12. And then eventually when that gets too covered, I'll just buy another one. Nice cheap way of being able to have an interesting background with a wood colour. But also, you know, if the worst happens, I'm not going to break my heart over it. Ted Smith, thanks everyone. I bought ink holders and trays the next day, but a day too late. Yeah, know what you mean. Blonde Scales 1 on my desk would be no problem. On the carpet though, yeah, absolutely. Again, that's why I have the cheaper rugs, just in case. Just glue the Inkmiser onto a heavier and wider foot. Yeah, I've got 4 Inkmisers. All they do, they fit nicely in that dish. They also fit in that wooden block if I want to. So I don't worry too much about it, but I always make sure it's in something. Wendy Sue, my vanishing point stub nib sang. Do you know, personally, and this is just me, I like it when I hear them singing. I love the audible nature of it. I think it just, again, it's just that extra dimension that it adds to my enjoyment when I hear it. You know, maybe I'm just weird though. Alia Rose, I dropped a full bottle of Birmingham Pen Company Sugar Kelp on cement last week. Wow, I bet that splashed well. The only one I ever worry about dropping, it's actually hidden behind there, is I've got a bottle of Noodler's Heart of Darkness. If I dropped that, I can imagine that, because it's the larger bottle, that'd be pools of ink. Aries, a Bay State blue carpet hides many a spill. Absolutely. Wendy Sue, it burns my brain. Yeah, I know what you mean. So let me just refresh. So that's all the comments. Let's head on over to what's happening. Let me just launch the presentation. So last week's videos. So yeah, last Friday we didn't have our live. I don't know why that's just done that. Let me put this into full screen. There we go. That might be better. No, we don't want next week's videos, Garry. There we go. Let's try again. And that's better. I want to take up most of the screen. So, Sunday of last week, we had April's inked pens. So they were the pens that weren't in my EDC. Quite a few of them. Hopefully that'll reduce for the next month. On Tuesday, we had a Jinana How. There's Gary's brain not working. We had the X450 versus the X850. So a couple of fairly reasonably priced pens there. Friday, I had my first impressions of the Jinhao 95. Is that handy? Yeah. There it is. Actually quite a nice pen. I love the green of this. This pen is going to be in next month. Why am I showing it to the camera? You can't see the camera because I've stopped the camera from being... There we go. There we go. That's better, isn't it? There we go, the Jinhao 95. Love this green colour. Section is a bit thin and a bit slippery, but it's nice. It's in next month's EDC lineup. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. And then yesterday, over on Tricky Little Questions, I had a video about multitasking. and how multitasking. A lot of people say they can multitask. They're talking out their backsides. They can't. They can do one thing. They might be able to do lots of one things, one after the other, but they can't do them all at the same time. You know, it's not possible, but you can have things going on at the same time. You know, you can put a kettle on to boil, so you can turn it on, go and do something else whilst it's boiling, but that's not multitasking. You still put the kettle on to boil, which was one single task that you were doing. Then whilst that's doing everything itself, you've gone on and done another task. But it does more into that. Next week's video, so Sunday, so today, we've got that Ron Garry handmade pen, my first impressions. Beautiful looking pen. I mean, you'll see my first impressions this afternoon. On Tuesday, I'm doing another first impressions type video, which is looking at a notepad that I got from the local supermarket called Coles. Cheapish notepad. Actually performed quite well. So that's Tuesday. Friday will be my wrap-up of April, so how I got on with my April's pens. I'm actually recording that tomorrow. So I've got the script. So of the 6 pens I started with, it was actually quite hard to rank. Position number 1 was a no-brainer. But the rest of them, yeah, it was, again, they were all very, very close. So just have a mouthful of tea. And then Saturday, so Saturday the 27th, that will be over on Tricky Little Questions. That'll be photo quiz time. Hopefully an interesting one. I've tried to get some different photos in it this time. And then my books of the week. So, this is really the book of the fortnight. So I finished reading Men at Arms by Terry Pratchett. Then with going into hospital, I didn't want to take a load of books with me because I didn't know how long I was going to be in there for. And books have got a fair weight. So I switched over to Terry Goodkind Confessor. I'm actually reading an ebook of that, which is why it was quite handy, and it's a fairly long book. So at the moment, because it's an ebook, I know I'm 38% of the way through. It's just starting to get to the action part now. A lot of it has been like setting up the scenarios that they're in. I'm really enjoying reading the Terry Goodkind books now. A while back I wasn't, but because I'm into books that I haven't read before, whereas the previous ones I had, I think I'm enjoying them more. So that's there. Let's jump back over. Oh, sorry. Whilst I remember, I will go through the comments. Don't forget to like the video, hit that thumbs up button. Every time you like, every time you comment, always helps with the YouTube algorithm. If you're watching on catch up, remember, add in comments. And don't forget there is membership available. I should fetch up the membership page. Can I do that? Have I got the brains to do that? Just head over to the community. Oops. Let me go back to the screen. Yeah, so membership is available. So there's a join button that you just hit that join button. So we get member shout outs on the end of most of my videos. Early access to new videos. So I release new videos a couple of days early. So not long after this video finishes, or after this live finishes, I will be... my brain's just gone dead again. Not long after this, I'll be actually releasing Tuesday's video to members. Prior to this bottom one, this is one that YouTube put on. To me, it's a pile of bollocks. I reply to all comments. Now, it might just be a thumbs up or it might be thanks, but I do read every comment. I do reply to them. And I do not give priority to any comments. I think the channels that do that, I think personally, I don't like. I think that's wrong. Alia Rose, sugar kelp stains orange, go figure. Yeah. That's a bit weird, isn't it, sometimes with some of the colours that you get out of these. BJ, love the inks, don't fear them. Ink is just a decoration for everything, even fingers. Yeah. No, we're still on the screen there. Why aren't we? You can see what I was doing there on the screen. Yep, there's my fingers today, just from doing them little swipes. Marie, Penboy Roy had an interesting YouTube video recently. Did anyone else see it? I don't recall a YouTube one. I've been listening to his podcasts, so maybe it's the video of his podcast. I was actually listening to yesterday's podcast just before I started this, and I'll be finishing it later on this morning. Tom, Marie saw it this morning. Yeah, so that'll be the video to the podcast, I'm guessing. Blonde Scales 1, if I owned the house, I wouldn't worry much about the possible ink spills, but since I don't, have to be careful. Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, my floor is actually tile, so I'm not too worried about an ink spill, but I'd just rather, ruin a cheaper carpet or cheaper rug than risk ruining the floor. Artful Stationer, I like the green too. Reminds me of one of those special edition Pilot vanishing points. Yeah, now that you fetch that to mind. Andreas, I have that VP and I thought that green was similar too. Artful Stationer, it's a beauty. Where did you get it? I haven't seen... Do you know, I've seen a couple of vanishing points, but I've never actually owned one yet. Maybe I need to invest in one of those at some time. Atomic Elf 1, priority comments for members is mostly for large channels. I've been on some live streams where there are literally thousands of viewers and it's impossible to reply. Yeah, that's certainly something, because I'm a fairly small channel, I can do essentially what we're doing here, going through every single comment. I didn't know that time when I was actually able to join the Hemingway Jones live. There's no way he could have done that. There was that many comments flowing in. That's the beauty of being a small channel, and it's something which, I think to me is very important. The way I look at it, even with comments, if someone's taken the time to make a comment, to watch my video, make a comment, I owe it to them to respond. And that's why I say it may only be a thumbs up, it may just be thanks, but I do read and I do appreciate every single comment that comes in. Let's do another refresh. Andreas, I had to import it from Taiwan Stationer. Thanks to Google Translator for helping that. Yeah, isn't Google so useful? It'd be useful. I'd be interested to see what happens with Google Bard. So Google Bard, I think it's still classed as an experiment, is their version of like the Chat GPT large language models. People call them, it's not AI, it's a large language model, it's machine learning, there's no intelligence behind it. That's just my hobby horse. But it'd be interesting to see where Google goes with that because of their power in the search market and their index, the way they index. It'd be interesting to see how they can pull that into Google Bard and into their large language model. Ricardo, I'll be working in a few hours, so it's going to be a good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to all. Have a nice week. Thank you for joining, Ricardo. Yeah, I think we're nearly finished now. Artful Stationers, Andreas, thanks. Let's refresh the comments. So there's no more comments, so thank you all for joining today. I'll do another refresh in just a second. Absolutely love the engagement, love chatting to people. To me, highlight of my week is doing this. Really do enjoy it. So I'm playing around with my camera setup at the moment, so you may, over the next few weeks, notice some little changes as I'm trying out different things just to see is there different ways I can do this and get maybe better angles or better views with the cameras I've got. But anyway, thank you all. It's been awesome to chat to you. Let's do another refresh of the comments. Atomic Elf 1, my Samsung just updated, and it now includes the option to do live two-way translation while you're on a phone call. It's basically the universal translator from Star Trek. Absolutely, I think that's awesome. That's something I'd love to be able to try that. At Blonde Scales 1, have a great week all. BJ, thanks for bringing us together, Gary. Thank you all for joining. Jason, thank you. Garry, cheers all. Artful Stationer, all the best. Camera looks good. Cool, thanks for that. Believe it or not, it's just a Logitech webcam that I'm using. Chris Robinson, thanks, Garry. Have a good Sunday to everybody. Thank you, Chris. Thank you so much for that notebook. I'm looking forward to actually using it in anger now. BJ, get well and be healthy. Thank you for that. Yeah, definitely feeling better. Just tired. Andreas, thanks, Garry and everyone. Great start to the week. Ted, thanks, Garry. Thanks to everybody. So that's all the comments. I will leave the chat open whilst the outro's playing. So thank you all. Been awesome to spend some time with you all. And I'll talk to you again soon.